Good evening. Hello. Part 11. Paloma. Cheers. Made with mezcal. Ooh. Bourbon-soaked Montmorency cherries. McKenna 10-year. A little actual bourbon. It was lovely. And a beer. Cheers. Happy Friday, boys and girls. Where we left off. We promised, but the moment we got inside, we lost control. The tension had been too great. Debbie Reynolds was yucking across the stage in a silver afro wig to the tune of Sgt. Pepper from the golden trumpet of Harry James. Jesus creeping shit, said my attorney. We've wandered into a time capsule. Heavy hands grabbed our shoulders. I jammed the hash pipe back into my pocket just in time. We were dragged across the lobby and held against the front door by goons until our car was fetched up. Okay, get lost, said the wine tux man. We're giving you a break. If Debbie has friends like you guys, she's in worse trouble than I thought. We'll see about this, my attorney shouted as we drove away. You paranoid scum. I drove around to the Circus Casino and parked near the back door. This is the place, I said. They'll never fuck with us here. Where's the ether? Said my attorney. This mescaline isn't working. I gave him the key to the trunk while I lit up the hash pipe. He came back with the ether bottle, uncapped it, then poured some into a Kleenex and mashed it under his nose, breathing heavily. I soaked another Kleenex and fouled my own nose. The smell was overwhelming, even with the top down. Soon, we were staggering up the stairs towards the entrance, laughing stupidly and dragging each other along like drunks. This is the main advantage of ether. It makes you behave like the village drunkard in some early Irish novel. Total loss of all basic motor skills. Blurred vision, no balance, numb tongue, severance of all connection between the body and the brain. Which is interesting, because your brain continues to function more or less normally. You can actually watch yourself behaving in this terrible way, but you can't control it. You approach the turnstiles leading into the circus, and you know that when you get there, you have to give the man $2 or he won't let you inside. But when you get there, everything goes wrong. You misjudge the distance to the turnstile and slam against it, bounce off and grab hold of an old woman to keep you from falling. Some angry Rotarian shoves you and you think, what's happening here? What's going on? Then you hear yourself mumbling, dogs fucked the Pope, no fault of mine, watch out, why money, my name is Brinks, I was born, get sheep oversight, women and children to armored car. Orders from Captain Zeep. Devil ether, a total body drug. The mind recoils in horror, unable to communicate with the spinal column. The hands flap crazily, unable to get money out of the pocket. Garbled laughter and hissing from the mouth. Always smiling. Ether is the perfect drug for Las Vegas. In this town, they love a drunk. Fresh meat. So they put us through the turnstiles and turned us loose inside. The circus is what the Hep world would be doing on a Saturday night if the Nazis had won the war. The circus is what the whole Hep world would be doing on a Saturday night if the Nazis had won the war. This is the Sixth Reich. The ground floor is full of gambling tables like all other casinos. But the place is about 4 stories high in the style of a circus tent, and all manner of strange county fair Polish carnival madness is going on up in the space. Right above the gambling tables, the 40 flying Carzito brothers are doing a high-wire trapeze act, along with 4 muzzled wolverines and the 6 Nymphette sisters from San Diego. So you're down on the main floor playing blackjack, and the stakes are getting high. When suddenly you chance to look up, and there, right smack above you, is a half-naked 14-year-old girl being chased through the air by a snarling wolverine, which is suddenly locked in a death battle with two silver-painted Polacks who come swinging down from opposite balconies and meet in midair on the wolverine's neck. Both Polacks seize the animal as they fall straight down towards the crap tables, but they bounce off the net. They separate and spring back up towards the roof in three different directions, and just as they're about to fall again, they are grabbed out of the air by three Korean kittens and trapezed off to one of the balconies. This madness goes on, but nobody seems to notice. The gambling action runs 24 hours a day on the main floor, and the circus never ends. Meanwhile, on all the upstairs balconies, the customers are being hustled by every conceivable type of bizarre shuck. All kinds of funhouse-type booths. Shoot the pasties off the nipples of a 10-foot bull dyke and win a cotton candy goat. Stand in front of this fantastic machine, my friend, and for just 99 cents, your likeness will appear 200 feet tall on a screen above downtown Las Vegas. 99 cents more for a voice message. Say whatever you want, fella. They'll hear you. Don't worry about that. Remember, you'll be 200 feet tall. Jesus Christ. I could see myself lying in bed in the Mint Hotel, half asleep and staring idly out the window, when suddenly a vicious Nazi drunkard appears 200 feet tall in the midnight sky, screaming gibberish at the world. Woodstock, Uber allies! We will close the drapes tonight. A thing like that could send a drug person careening around the room like a ping pong ball. Hallucinations are bad enough, but after a while you learn to cope with things like seeing your dead grandmother crawling up your leg with a knife in her teeth. Most acid fanciers can handle this sort of thing. But nobody can handle that other trip. The possibility that any freak with $1.98 can walk into the circus and suddenly appear in the sky over downtown Las Vegas, 12 times the size of God, howling anything that comes into his head. No. This is not a good town for psychedelic drugs. Reality itself is too twisted. Good mescaline comes on slow. The first hour is all waiting, and then about halfway through the second hour, you start cursing the creep who burned you because nothing is happening. And then zang. Fiendish intensity, strange glow and vibrations, a very heavy gig in a place like the circus. I hate to say this, said my attorney, as we sat down at the merry-go-round bar on the second balcony, but this place is getting to me. I think I'm getting the fear. Nonsense, I said. We came out here to find the American dream, and now that we're right in the vortex, you want to quit? I grabbed his bicep and squeezed. You must realize, I said, that we found the main nerve. I know, he said, and that's what gives me the fear. The ether was wearing off and the acid was long gone, but the mescaline was running strong. We were sitting at a table, small, round, gold formica, moving in orbit around the bartender. Look over there, I said. 2 women fucking a polar bear. Please, he said, don't tell me these things, not now. He signaled the waitress for 2 more wild turkeys. This is my last drink, he said. How much money can you lend me? Not much, I said. Why? I have to go, he said. Go? Yes, leave the country tonight. Calm down, I said. You'll be straight in a few hours. No, he said. This is serious. George Metzke was serious, I said, and you see what they did to him. Don't fuck around, he shouted. 1 more hour in this town and I'll kill somebody. I could see he was on the edge, that fearful intensity that comes at the peak of a mescaline seizure. Okay, I said, I'll lend you some money. Let's go outside and see how much we have left. Can we make it? He said. Well, that depends on how many people we fuck with between here and the door. You want to leave quietly? I want to leave fast. Okay. Let's pay this bill and get up very slowly. We're both out of our heads. This is going to be a long walk. I shouted at the waitress for a bill. She came over looking bored, and my attorney stood up. Do they pay you to screw that bear? He said. What? He's just kidding, I said. Come on, Doc. Let's go downstairs and gamble. I got him as far as the edge of the bar, the rim of the merry-go-round, but he refused to get up until it started turning. It won't stop, I said. It's not ever going to stop. I stepped off and turned around to wait for him, but he wouldn't move, and before I could reach out and pull him off, he was carried away. Don't move, I shouted. You'll come around. His eyes were staring blindly ahead, squinting with fear and confusion. But he didn't move a muscle until he'd made the whole circus. I waited till he was almost in front of me. Then I reached out to grab him, but he jumped back and went around to the circle again. This made me very nervous. I felt on the edge of a freakout. The bartender seemed to be watching us. Carson City, I thought. 20 years. I stepped on the merry-go-round and hurried around the bar, approaching my attorney on his blind side. And we came to the right spot. I pushed him off. He staggered into the aisle and uttered a hellish scream as he lost his balance and went down, thrashing into the crowd, rolling like a log, then up again in a flash, fists clenched, looking for somebody to hit. I approached him with my hands in the air, trying to smile. You fell, I said. Let's go. By this time, people were watching us. But the fool wouldn't move, and I knew what would happen if I grabbed him. Okay, I said. You stay here and go to jail. I'm leaving. I started walking towards the stairs, ignoring him. That moved him. Did you see that? He said as he caught up with me. Some son of a bitch kicked me in the back. Probably the bartender, I said. He wanted to stomp you for what you said to the waitress. Good God. Let's get out of here. Where's the elevator? Don't go near that elevator, I said. That's just what they want us to do. Trap us in a steel box and take us down to the basement. I looked over my shoulder, but nobody was following. Don't run, I said. They'd like an excuse to shoot us. He nodded, seeming to understand. We walked fast along the big indoor midway, shooting galleries, tattoo parlors, money changers, cotton candy booths, and then out through a bank of glass doors and across the grass downhill to a parking lot where the Red Shark waited. You drive, he said. I think there's something wrong with me.